Hey everyone, Eric here. Just wanting to kind of give a summary and also an update on things that have been happening with this new wonky Focusrite Clarett Plus 8 Pre. So a couple of days ago, I brought my old, oh, well, it's not old. My previous Focusrite Clarett Plus 8 Pre back to the retailer. It had a couple of problems. It had this problem with some crackly output through the main output as well as both the headphone outputs. You'd play audio through it and it would crackle. This would happen even outside of the door. So like if I was playing music through YouTube or something, it would have this. It would also have it also had this problem with the dim and mute buttons. You'd press the dim button, and then if you keep on pressing it randomly, it would sometimes trigger the mute button and function on and off. I had been in contact with the retailer that I got it from in the few days prior, and basically, you know, I took videos of both of these problems, uploaded them here on my channel, which you can probably see if you look back at my last few videos, and I sent them links to those videos. I believe they saw it. They told me to bring it in. It looks like it's faulty, that you know they have to test it in store, and then the protocol is that they send it to the supplier. The supplier, once it's deemed faulty by the supplier will either look for parts to repair it, or they'll just send another replacement. Basically what happened is I brought it over to the retailer. They were in the process of testing it. I mean, the guy, you know, he asked me some questions. What door do I use? What operating system do I use? Are the drivers and firmware up to date? And I said, yes, of course, everything's up to date. I'm on Windows. I use Pro Tools, whatever. He was downloading the software from, like, the drivers and the control software from the Focusrite website and trying to set it up to test the crackly output. And then eventually, during that process, I showed him the wonky dim and mute buttons, and he saw it happen with his own eyes. And then eventually, during the process of him trying to download the software, he just gave up and was like, stuff this. We can you know, get a return authority, claim a warranty just based off the dim and mute buttons. So he went back out to the employee in charge of managing the returns and refunds and whatever, and explained the situation. I said to both of them, I was like, look, I know you said that it has to go through the supplier and things like that, because they said that there was this process to follow, having to go to the supplier and having the supplier test it, because it wasn't like a dead on arrival product. I had waited almost a whole month before I opened it. I had other stuff to set up, you know, like I'll just show you what I was setting up, like setting up all this stuff. I was getting parts for a new PC, which I built. So a lot of stuff took time. A lot of stuff had to happen before I got around to like opening up my new rack mounted equipment, racking them up and then testing them, etc. I explained this to them. It didn't change anything, which is okay. I just was like, look, I wasn't just using this faulty product for a whole month and then I decided to contact you. But anyway, like, yeah, so where was I? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Basically, I said I know you said that because I didn't email them within a week of getting it. It took a whole month before I brought it up with them. Then they can't give an immediate replacement. They've got to got to follow this process of the supplier testing it out first and this and that. So I said, this is going to take some time. They have to send it back to the supplier, which will take, I don't know, a few days. I think that they're interstate. I'm pretty sure they're interstate. So it will take a few days for them to get it, and then they might take another few days to test it. Then they're gonna send the replacement, which will take another few days. So I'm like, okay, can you just maybe give me a replacement from one of your stocks so I don't have to deal with the supplier? You guys can get the replacement from the supplier. I can get one of your other stock, then I can just walk out of here with a brand new fully functional and working unit, and then go on my way and continue. I don't think they were completely they weren't completely okay with it. I feel like they had to consider it, and in the end they ended up calling the supplier and asking if the supplier could just send the replacement to them instead of me, because they said the supplier normally sends the replacement straight to me. So the supplier said yes, and I walked out with a brand new, it was brand new Focusrite Clarett Plus 8 Pre USB-C audio interface. So anyway, I took it home. I plugged it in. I didn't fully rack it up and plug everything in right. I just kind of plugged in the power, the USB cable, and I tried the dim and mute button. And if you see, I think maybe it's my previous or my previous video, the problem was there again. The dim and mute button was there again. I haven't even tested the output yet, and to be honest, I can't really be bothered right now. It's just I'm so sick of this. I need a break from it, So the dim and mute problem was still there. And I went back home. I thought to myself, I really need to investigate what's going on here. What are the chances that two brand new units are going to have exactly the same problem, this dim and mute button thing? So I scoured the Focusrite Clarett Plus 8 Pre user manuals. There's two different manuals. I looked at the relevant sections. There's a paragraph, 3 or 4 lines that are exactly the same, and they just say that the dim function cuts the output signal by -18 decibels. The mute function mutes it. It doesn't say that you press the dim button X amount of times and it will also trigger the mute button. And obviously that doesn't make sense. Dim means dim and mute means mute. If I wanted both of them together, it's not hard to just press them both at the same time. Why would you press them both at the same time though? I mean, mute will kill the signal. You don't need to dim it again. Anyway, so I looked at the manual and then I contacted Focusrite. I explained the situation. I was like, look, this is what's happening. I explained the whole thing about how I had this problem, and then I got a replacement, and then the replacement also had this problem. I asked if there were how they could explain it. I said maybe there are 4 different explanations. 1, is this actually a hidden feature that is an intended feature? It's not very likely. 2, is there gonna be a firmware patch, a future firmware patch that is gonna fix this? 3, do you guys know about it? 4, maybe the supplier got just a batch that the whole batch is wonky. And I said, I marked the ticket as urgent. I said, I need this I need these answers as soon as possible, because I need to know whether I have to go back to the retailer, or whether you know, you guys are working on it and I can just, because it's not a problem that's gonna really get in the way, but if it's a fault, then I want to get it fixed or remedied, you know, straight away. So I said, I'm marking this as urgent because I'm involved, like the retailer's also involved, so I might need to go back to them. Um, and yeah, so I sent them that ticket. It was a very long explanation. So that was 2 days ago. And they still haven't gotten back to me, which is okay. Um, yeah, like I'm waiting. I think I need to wait for their response until I decide what my next step is. Um, I also emailed the lady who was in charge of the returns at the retailer, and I explained the situation, and I said, you know, thank you for accommodating me with getting a replacement. I actually tested it this, you know, the same afternoon, and I saw exactly the same problem. I've Before I go back to you guys looking for a resolution and claiming another warranty on a replacement product, I've contacted Focusrite. I've asked them what's going on, um, and I'm gonna wait until they respond before I contact anyone else about it, or you know, take any further action to whomever. And she replied. She was actually very gracious about it. She said, you know, I asked her, maybe there's a chance that the whole batch is wonky. And she said, yeah, thanks for the update. It's just wait for Focusrite to get back to you and see what they say. They know their products best. Hopefully it's just like a firmware patch that they can fix it with. And I hope that it's not a bad batch. But she basically said that she'll get it remedied for me as soon as possible. But yeah, just waiting on Focusrite to get back to me. So Focusrite, if you're watching, check my ticket, let me know what's going on, so I can move on. But for now, I'm gonna pack everything away for now. Okay, cheers.